To me, it took me a while to really get into the story of it, but then once they started talking about, you know, the fact that Adonis never knew his father, and then by the time he meets Rocky, and then Rocky helps him out, starts training him out, and all that, then they start really opening up to each other, and so it takes a while for the story to get going. Like in most movies, I guess, but especially in this one. But yeah, so I mean, 9 out of 10. That's not too bad. I'd say it's definitely worth spending money on to go see it. I'm pretty sure it's still in the theaters. At least here in my city, it's still in the theaters. Though it looks like it might only be showing in theaters for maybe another week or two, another couple of weeks. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone. Check it out as soon as you can. So, moving on here. Some time ago, I think it was yesterday, I posted a poll on Twitter, on my Twitter account, Twitter page. I don't know what you call it, page, profile. And of course, if you're not following me on Twitter, I do encourage you to do so. I post regular cool updates, a lot of random stuff, but also some interesting things on Twitter. My Twitter handle is, of course, Noiseless Madman, all lowercase, all one word. If you need the link for that, the URL link, that's twitter.com/noiselessmadman. So I posted this poll on Twitter yesterday asking a simple question. Marvel or DC, which do you prefer? Do you prefer Marvel or DC? Which do you like more? Or do you not like either? And unfortunately, not that many people, I guess, were aware of this poll, or I don't know. I mean, obviously, I guess the next poll I do, I got to give people a lot of advanced notice. But from what I saw, 100% of the people that voted chose Marvel. So, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. And then I started to think about it myself, which do I prefer, Marvel or DC? And it got me thinking, pretty much, because Marvel, they have a lot of awesome characters. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man, X-Men, Thor, Captain America, Ant-Man, Hulk, so on and so on, and but then DC has Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, trying to think of else. I was trying to list all the ones that I know. Oh, Submariner. Well, that's kind of an old guy. Submariner. My dad is actually a big fan of Submariner. But then, and then of course I started thinking, well, it'd be cool if, they had some kind of movie or something leading up to some kind of big encounter with all the Marvel characters and all the DC Comics characters. And then I looked into it. I just looked on a bunch of different random websites talking about websites that had to do with comic books and superhero movies. And I guess there seems to be a pretty big agreement, or at least some kind of consensus in the DC and Marvel universes, that eventually all these superhero movies that are coming out, eventually they're all going to lead up to some kind of really big movie, or more likely movies, more than one movie, in which all the Marvel characters and all the DC characters will meet up. We'll have some kind of meetup, and also too some kind of big battle. So I mean, obviously, this would be really cool. This would be really awesome if this happened. I mean, to me, I'd say it does make sense. It does seem like a very real possibility. Now, exactly when this would happen, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. And even, when I tried to dig a little deeper and throughout all these different websites, and they pretty much agree on the same thing, that, they had no real clue. There's maybe a couple guys who tried to speculate on certain timetables and whatnot, but it's, nothing is set in stone, really. I mean, even if they did set a date, just based on the track record of, dates being set for, or release dates being set for particular movies, eventually they do change the dates, they do move it up. So as far as I know, the release date for Batman vs. Superman has been changed because this past summer, when I remember the original release date was set for some time in like May or June, around that time. May or June of 2016. And now I think they moved it up by at least a couple weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. So, I mean, it goes to show you they're always changing the dates, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. If you, for those of you, if you did vote in this poll, thanks for taking the time to do that. For those of you who didn't, hey, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you? Why? Yeah, no, it's it's cool. It's I'm going to be posting a couple more polls later on throughout this week, maybe even right after this broadcast. So yeah, there you go. Marvel or DC, I don't know. I'd say for me, I like both. I like both of them. But and then also too, like whenever there's a character from the Marvel universe that I don't really like, that's when I change my focus over to the DC universe, and then vice versa. So for me, I guess I'm always going back and forth. Although I don't know, when I was a little boy, I remember being a pretty big Batman fan. And back then, the only two movies that had come out were the Batman movies that starred Michael Keaton as Batman. Those were pretty good. I thought Michael Keaton made a pretty awesome Batman. Nobody else did, but I did. So. And even before that, I was even a fan of the reruns of the old Batman show starring Adam West. So I like that, even as corny, cheesy as it was. I still kind of like it today, but I can't really sit through more than a couple episodes at a time of it, just because of the cheese factor. So, so I mean, all right, there you go. That'll do it for this episode of the Noiseless Madman podcast. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for just taking time out of your day to listen to this. Or if you're not listening right now, what am I saying? If you're unable to catch it during the live broadcast, I do appreciate you sharing it, listening to it afterwards, and sharing it throughout your various social media accounts and sharing it amongst your friends. Please feel free to do so. So, before I sign off here, I do want to remind you once again that you can preview and purchase my original albums on Bandcamp, noiselessmadman.bandcamp.com. Definitely check that out. And also follow me on Twitter. Come on, you want to follow me on Twitter. Everybody is doing it. My Twitter handle is @noiselessmadman. The URL for that is, of course, twitter.com/noiselessmadman. I'm also on Vine. Vine, of course, is an interesting social media platform where you create short 6-second videos that play in a loop. You should definitely check that out if you're not familiar with that. From time to time, I'll post just little snippets of whatever I'm doing at the moment. I'm on Vine, of course. under the same username at Noiseless Madman. And of course, I'm also on Instagram. My handle for that is Noiseless Madman 300. So I guess it turns out there was another person, whatever, even though that person's account is no longer active, there's some kind of block that was put on it. I don't know. It's according to Instagram. So on Instagram, my handle is Noiseless Madman 300. So that'll do it. Once again, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. And until the next episode, keep it real and peace.